to the school board office, and I met with Nick, and I met with Aaron, and I think we've come up with an interlocal agreement that we can all be happy with. I know that you're meeting at 7 o'clock tonight, is that correct? And I would like to put this proposal to you, and here's a copy of it, where we can all take a look at it and discuss it, and see what your wishes are for the council. Basically, I think the interlocal agreement addresses some of the things that was in the prior agreement, but the main changes that were made, if you go to, it's got the parties who's involved, which is us, and the titles, which means what we do for municipal services, what they do for school services. And then on the back of the front page, it comes to the terms and conditions. And I'll just read this out, and then we can discuss what we've got. The city and the district agree the city shall make payments to the district in the sum of $100,000 annually beginning in 2021 and ending with 2024. The payments will be applied to the bond obligation currently held against the pool facility. Said annual payments will be split into 2 equal payments of $50,000. The reason for that is we collect our ad valorem tax the first half in January, and you collect the second half after June 1st or July 1st.
The distribution occurs at the end of June, the first week of July.
Okay, so that's the purpose of that. The first payment shall be made, $50,000 payment shall be made February 15th, 2021, and the second shall be made July 15th, 2021. And each subsequent year for 2022, 23, and 24. Like payments shall be made in accordance with the time frame set out above. Upon making the July 15th, 2024 payment, or the final payment of 2024, the city shall no longer be responsible or required to make any further payments to the district and shall be released from this obligation. 3.2 states the city and the district agree that the city shall make annual payments to the district in the sum of $36,000 beginning in July 2021 and ending in 2024, July 2024. That's a fixed amount. There'll no longer be a 50-50 split on the total operational cost. That's just a flat fixed amount for us. The payment will be split in 2 equal payments of $18,000. The city owes an existing bill of $22,609.21 that is to be paid on March 23rd, 2021, and July 15th sum for 2021 will begin the average cost payment scheduled for $18,000. And for 2022, the first payment shall be made by February 15th, the second by July 15th. Kind of coordinates with what we pay the bond. Each subsequent year, 2023 and 2024, like payments shall be made in accordance with the time frame set out in this paragraph. Upon making the July 15th, 2024, the final payment, the city shall no longer be responsible or required to make any further payments to the district and shall be released from this obligation. 3.3 states the city and the district agree to that in return for the above, the district shall allow reasonable access and use of the pool facility to the public, including but not limited to city residents. The district shall retain authority to set reasonable annual fees and any provisions in sorry, I've lost my phrase.
Well, just about 4.1.
Yeah. Set annual fees for the use of the facility by local patrons, and further both parties agree that this paragraph shall survive termination of this agreement. This portion was not in the original agreement at all, so that is completely added. Each party agrees to and shall defend, indemnify, and hold harmless the other party, and it's that officers, agents, employees from and against any and all claims, losses, damages, judgments, or liabilities of whatever nature, including any portion thereof arising from or related to the indemnifying party's acts, omissions, or performance under this agreement. It is the intent of the party that each party be responsible for its own actions occurring under this agreement. And this section shows survive termination. That's basic, that was in the other agreement, that portion there. The insurance portion is where and this was in the former agreement. The city shall obtain and maintain personal injury, property damage, liability insurance in amount of not less than $1 million per occurrence, annual aggregate. Once the city has made its last payment under section 3 of this agreement, the city shall no longer be required to maintain insurance and will do so at its discretion. And it's the same, basically the same wording with the school district, they're to maintain that $1 million. And that's an umbrella, correct? That, on our policy. It's no increase or, right, there's no increase to the city on that. Termination, this agreement shall terminate upon the city's last payment to the district in July of 2024. Upon the last payment, the city shall have no further obligation to the district regarding the pool facility to include bond payments or payments or operational or any other expense. Only those sections specifically set out as surviving this termination of this agreement shall remain in effect and survive. In the dispute resolutions, we basically took out the portion of the dispute resolutions in regards to maintenance of the pool and salaries and things of that nature, because we're paying a fixed amount. But in this, we need this for, the parties agree that any disputes that arise between them shall first be submitted to mediation. If the parties are unable to resolve the issue through mediation, they may bring an action in district court. So it's just basically, you wanna explain?
We put that in just in case for some reason something happened and the school was no longer allowing the public to get there and we wanted to bring an action if we wanted to. I don't think there's really any reason that this will ever be used, but there is that process. Also, I just wanted to point out in section 3.1, we had modified, and I thought I had sent it to everyone, that the first payment was gonna be by March 23rd, 2021, because we've already passed February 15th. So
Right.
we just matched the
Yeah,
payment
I
in
thought that
3.2.
the first payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to approve that.
That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. General provisions, this, 8.1 is this amended and revised agreements may be changed only by written agreement of the district and city. Any agreement in existence heretofore is revoked, and any provisions inconsistent with this revised agreement are repealed and held nullified. This amended and revised agreement is a final integration of the agreement between the city and the district. And the last paragraph is this agreement shall be effective upon the duly authorized signatures of the parties' representatives, district and city, acknowledge and confirm that the undersigned have full authority to enter into this agreement on behalf of the respective parties, and any resolutions or other approval necessary to authorize the undersigned to bind the respective parties have been or will be properly passed, adopted, or otherwise approved. So, having said all of that, I would entertain discussion. What you all,
Hallelujah. Sounds good to me.
I think it's written that I can understand it,
Yeah,
I like that. It's good, all right.
Makes me feel really good.
Move
Nick,
on.
do you have any comments you'd like to make?
No, not at this time, no. I mean,
Okay.
as far as I know you've gotta have that clause in there, but the people own the pool, school's never gonna lock the people out of their own pool,
Right.
you know, so.
Well, I appreciate you working with us, and
I think that's the simplest, just to take an average of the last 12 years, and that way we don't get into what just happened
absolutely,
again.
absolutely.
So when do we get to sign that?
Well,
I don't think we have to sign it. Maybe we should.
Well,
I think if you guys wanna take action and sign, I'll take it to my meeting, cause my board hasn't had a chance to look at it that closely, and
right,
if they think everything's okay, we'll sign it and it'll be complete
okay,
tonight.
Can I ask actually a question? If your board would approve it, can I just get you a copy though that has that good date in it so that we have an accurate?
Yeah, if I get up there in time, I'll just have Aaron
Okay, that'd be great.
get a new first sheet. We'll just do a new first sheet and tap it on it, but,
Okay,
yeah, we'll change that date.
thank you.
well, the next thing on my plate was to move to accept the proposed revised interlocal agreement between Marion Unified School District 408 and the City of Marion. Kansas regarding the use and payment of the school facility contingent upon acceptance of the Marion Unified School District Board, District 408 School Board by majority vote. This interlocal agreement will become binding with the passage of a resolution of participation at a future meeting of the governing body of the city of Marion, Kansas. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Susan, would you explain the reason for a resolution at the next meeting?
Yeah, the resolution at the next meeting will then authorize the city to make the payments every time. So we should
Okay.
have a resolution that binds you for those payments.
Okay.
And I think the meeting will be on the 22nd, so that should help us meet the 23rd.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
And Susan, when is that date, March what?
23rd.
Thank you.
I'm gonna sign this now. Tiffany, you're gonna need to attest to it. Okay? I got a pen that work.
Mr. Mayor, that's your, on page one, the date and change on that.
We'll tack copies of the front page, we'll fix that before our board looks at it, that's what, Susan had brought up, is changing that date to the 23rd of March, yeah.
But you can still sign the back.
This indicates the 23rd of March. This one does.
Okay.
The one I've got.
The operating cost payments say the 23rd, but if I heard you right when you read it, the first one said February 15th, and that needs to get changed, so.
But I sent an updated one, so maybe you haven't.
You have some whiteout?
I think David made that up.
The updated one?
You cross it and put the right date
Oh,
and
maybe they
initial.
do.
Yeah.
I'm
We're only talking about the,
The
what we owe you
50,000.
right now.
What's that? Yes,
March 23rd is only what we owe you right
just the
now.
first one, yeah,
The February 15th date is for.
For the
That's
future,
right.
right,
yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay, now you go get that. Yep, that should be it.
You can have a pool for you, thank you.
You're welcome. And
Well,
then
thank you,
we'll-
Nick, I
we'll keep
appreciate
a
it.
signed copy when you get it signed.
What's that?
I said, and we'll both have signed copies, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even just a copy would
A
be.
copy, yeah, we'll just go over this, and if everything's cool, then we'll sign it tonight.
Okay,
Is that okay?
yeah, fine with me.
I don't think it should be a problem.
Just get it
They
done.
were aware. So,
We're happy.
thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, right, well done.
Mr. David, I'd like to tell Nick something. I was at one of my breakfast meetings the other morning. I had breakfast meeting every morning. Anyway, the people from the west said, "Oh my, that is such better than what we got over here."
Yeah,
So, you know, I think,
I know Tabor really appreciates, they love that tool, yeah.
so,
Yeah, there's a lot of women.
It is, the facility is the jewel of this town, so.
yeah, it is.
I
okay,
had a note from one of the ladies over there.
Thank you all.
okay. Item 14, discussion of 2021 salary administration. Roger?
Yeah, I just wanted to share with council, we've begun the salary administration process. It's actually began last June in your budget workshop, where you approved a 2% increase for the budget. Now the process goes through, each department head does a rating and review of their people. We meet collectively as a group, and then based on the review ratings, salary increases are granted. They go from 2%, the target is, they go from 0% for an unacceptable rating, up to the target of 2, and then top performers will receive, depending on how it works out on the amount of money that we have to work with, up to 3% on their increase. that process, all of the department heads work together, finalize that, so there isn't one organization that is higher than others as it works through. For this year, based on the actual year-ending payroll, last year it was $1,257,19. However, there are organizations that handle their own salary administration, or the administration has handled other avenues, like the museum board, housing, library, their boards are integral in that. So the amount, when we factor that out, the overall amount approved was $25,014. That will be the departments that are handled by your department heads. The payroll ending 2020 was $1,001,321. That sets the pool at $22,006, and that's what will be allocated on those increases. The reviews will be completed in the month of March, and the month of April is when salary increases. And we'll have to work with Tiffany on which pay cycle that is.
Any questions of the council?
I'm just wondering if we can really afford it since we're having all this other problem.
I'm kind of the opinion we can't, not afford it. I mean, our workers are gonna be looking at increased utility costs, gas prices, natural gas prices, and it was approved in the budget. You know, the council approved that percentage of pay increase.
Okay, how much of this are we gonna pass on to the 30% that's on social security?
On the who?
On the citizens that are on social security, how much are we gonna have to raise rates on them to pay for this salary increase?
I don't think we would we?
You budgeted it in the cost, it's already built into the structure. It's
Yeah.
not going to impact.
The
The
only-
impact that customers are going to see is the added cost. And again, we have not had that discussion with this council on the amount of reserves that you're going to approve to be utilized to offset direct expense. Nor have we allocated the kilowatt charges that will be. That discussion, conversation is forthcoming based on when we have actual facts to deal with.
Any further questions? Okay. Discussion of fire department command structure.
Do we need to take a vote on that?
No, I don't think so. We already approved it in the budget. Okay, and item 15. I'd just like to state that the city of Marion has been working to effectively address concerns arising from the leadership of the Marion Fire Department with regard to performance shortfalls that have been previously communicated with our fire chief. And these communications have been happening for the past several months. It's all related to, I'm not gonna be specific, the financial stewardship and resources and assets, municipal insurance risk exposure, employee morale, firefighter training, and enforcement of municipal policies. And from what I've gathered, and I think some of this discussion was made with the council, we've been unable to achieve the desired levels of acceptable performance over the course of the last several months. So I would recommend and move to relieve Preston Williams of his position as fire chief in association with the City of Marion Fire Department effective immediately. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We move and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Could we have discussion, please?
I'm sorry.
Could we have discussion,
Oh, I'm
please?
sorry, yeah, that's correct. Rick, sorry.
Okay, Marion City Code 1-303, paragraph D states, no officer or employee shall be removed for any reason until he or she has been given notice and afforded the opportunity for a hearing. Have we done this for Preston?
It's an appointed position.
That's right, that's what this is. This is for appointed employees, and Roger and Susan both should have known this.
You know, I think that's a question then for our city attorney.
What do we count the executive session as? What do we count the executive session as? What constitutes a hearing?
Well, I would assume the executive session probably constituted what we brought beforehand. There was more than one item. We covered basically all of these issues.
But I don't think he was really given notice.
Are you talking about it has to be a public hearing?
Yes,
I'm not aware of
if
that.
so desired. And the reason I say this is, I believe that Preston is entitled to a hearing if he wants one, because an accusation is a charge or claim that somebody has done something wrong. It's not a fact, but hearsay. Since I cannot use Preston as a prime example, I will use myself as an example. I received a letter on June 22nd, 2020, when an accusation was leveled against me for trying to sell the building on North Roosevelt. The 4 people involved in this accusation are sitting in this room tonight. They found me guilty and convicted me without even asking any questions or verifying the accusation with the people I supposedly tried to sell the building to. This resulted in the city attorney sending me a letter before the facts had even been verified. I found the letter showed a lack of integrity, and it was very intimidating and threatening. The letter stated, among other things, that my action could result in the mayor admonishing me before the entire council. This was all done on an accusation made and not verified as a fact. This is what I call a witch hunt, trying to intimidate me into doing what they wanted. This is what accusations can do. This is why I will base my decisions on fact, not accusations. I have carried this letter in my purse since the day I received it, just to remind me the type of people I work with. I suggest that this item be tabled and a proper hearing can be scheduled as stated in the Marion City Code 1-303D. Thank you.
Susan, I'm not sure we can discuss employee personnel issues in a public meeting. Is that
Well,
correct?
That is correct, you're not supposed to, that is something that is to be taken up in executive session.
Well, we still need to offer him a hearing, even if it is on executive session. He needs to be notified and maybe told what the accusations are against him so he can answer.
We did that the last meeting.
Well, there's been a lot answered or added since then.
I'm not aware of it is.
I just think since it's in the city code, we need to follow the procedure.
Well, our attorney says that we should not have a public meeting to discuss employee personnel issues.
Well, the code says we
The
have,
employee can bring it, he can talk about everything that we talked about in executive session, but we can't.
but the code says we have to offer him an opportunity for a hearing,
It says
whether he
hearing,
wants it or
doesn't-
not.
It doesn't say public hearing.
It says hearing, opportunity for a hearing.
I will say this, I've never dealt with this in the past where you had to offer someone a public hearing. He's an appointed official, and if you wish to terminate it, it's my understanding that you can. Now, if you want to offer him the ability to come forward and say what he wants to, then by all means, please do that.
Okay. What's your wishes, Ruth?
Well, I think we ought to ask him if he wants a hearing.
But if he wants an executive session, not a hearing. I mean, we'll discuss what needs to be discussed in executive session, which is what we did at the last council meeting.
Preston's sitting there, let's ask him, what do you prefer, Preston?
Oh. So I guess the last executive session we had, I did reach out and ask what the meeting was gonna be about. I never did receive any information on what the last meeting was gonna be about. So I guess I never had any idea what I was getting into and what, we were gonna talk about. But, so I do have, for what it's worth, a letter my guys wrote up saying that they do support me, and I did not make them sign it. I let them pick and choose if they wanted to. If not, that's fine. I do have 12 on there now out of 20, and I know a few more wanted to, but just never got to the station to do it. But
I think you have 22 personnel, right?
21 including myself.
Okay, and this is, that's 11 people, that's on out of 21.
I mean, some of these things we did talk about, like, some of them not even was city related, as in, budget for another truck. That would be all township doing. And even though I was told not to look for a truck, to stand down and everything, I still have my township members asking and looking, so I have not stopped looking for a new truck as per my township members.
I can attest to that. I'm the clerk of Center Township, and we are still telling him to find a truck, we've got a truck that needs to be replaced.
Can we respond
I believe you could probably respond, yeah. I
to
don't know.
that? Okay. You were told that you can't go buy a truck, either for the townships or the city, without coming to this council and getting approval. But you did it anyway. We have to, how this works is, we have to do a lease purchase. The city has to sign a lease purchase for a fire truck. This council has to approve that, okay?
Yeah, I get that.
Alright, and then the townships reimburse us for the payments every time.
Yeah, like I said, we haven't even got that close. We might not have even needed a lease purchase. That was just homework on my part to bring to my township members if the need arose to go that route. Like I said, when you go buy a car, you look at insurance, interest rate, payments, all that. I was just trying to do my homework, like, when we did go to our meeting, I would have these facts in place.
My understanding, you came in and asked for an RFP.